Hello and welcome to this episode of R for Data Analysis with the Warrior Analytics. We continue with learning the basics of R programming. So far we've looked at reserved words, variable names, data types and structures, operators and functions in R. So today we are going to look at conditional statements. We are going to see the different forms of the if statements and how to use iterative statements so that you don't keep writing the same piece of code for repetitive tasks. As usual, we have a folder where we have all the course materials. I've put a link in the description of this video where you can access this folder. Inside the folder, we have subfolders called R tutorial files. That's where we have the script we are going to use today. We are going to use script number 8, conditional statements, and script number 9, iterative statements. So I will open the files. I'm going to go to File, Open File. I locate where my folder is. It is under R tutorial files. Then I will open conditional statements. I will also open File and open number 9, which is iterative statements. So we are going to start with conditional statements. Conditional statements basically help R to make decisions. If a certain condition is met, what should you do? If it is not met, what should be done? We are going to demonstrate by, let us first create an object or a variable called x, okay, where we are going to read an input from the keyboard. Remember, this function here tells R that you prompt the user to enter a value. Okay, so we are going to create an object x and it will prompt us to create a value. So I'm going to press Ctrl Enter. It will prompt us to enter a value. So I'm going to enter 10. Enter this, and then you can see an object has been created. And remember, we said once you see double quotes on a value, that means R is reading this as a string, which is not something we desire. So we are going to tell R that whatever you're reading, we are going to have this input as dot numeric, okay? As numeric. So whatever is being read here, we're just going to cut all this and put it inside. So we are going to create x, which is a numeric variable, and we are reading this from the keyboard. The other way to look at it is that you're going to read a value or get an output input from the keyboard, then you convert it to numeric. Either there are several as dot character, you can convert to character, a certain variable, or you can convert to an integer. So there are several there. You can convert from one data type to another. So here we are converting whatever we are entering in the keyboard to numeric, and we assign that to x. So if I run this again, then I put here a 10, enter, then you will now see a 10, which is a numeric value. We have different forms of if, but we are going to start with the simple if. We want to tell our program that if the value of x that has been entered is above 0, then you print the result as a positive number. You return a positive number. The basic syntax of if consists of the condition, if and the condition. Let me just put this to the next line to make it easier. Then we have this type of brackets where we have a statement in between those brackets. That is the basic syntax of an if. The if word with the condition, and if that condition is met, then this statement has to be executed. So in this case, if x is greater than 0, we shall print positive number. So I'm going to run this code here. If x is equal to 0, print a positive number. If I control enter, you will see that it will print positive number because the input we've given it 10 is above 0. How about if we run this, control enter, and we put a value of 0, then enter, then since x is 0, we can now try to run the if function. Control enter, you find that nothing has been printed, like there is no output printed, but it is telling you it has executed that code because we've not given it the alternative. What if x is not above 0? So this is a simple if, and it brings us to the if else statement. So under the if else statement, we give both options. If it is above, print this. If it is not, else you will print this. So here we are telling Ara that if our x, the input, is above 0, you are going to print positive. Else you're going to print not positive. So let us try to run this. Since our value is 0, we are going to control enter, and then it is now returning for us not positive because it has evaluated the condition. The condition was not being met, was false, so it has to go with the alternative. If we enter our value as say 10, and then we run this part of code, control enter, it will return positive because this time round the first bit of this code has been met. So that is it. So this is the simple if, and then this is the if else ladder. If the condition here is true, print this. If or else, just print this. But remember, not positive can either be a negative number or it can be 0. So we can now proceed to the if else ladder. Let me just space this. So we are telling R that, okay, if x is greater than 0, you print positive. Else, again check. We are giving another condition, another second if. Okay, so if x is above 0, print this. It is a positive number, definitely. Else, so instead of else and we put a statement like we did previously, this time round, else, again we are adding another if. Else if, again you check another condition. Is x less than 0? And if that condition is true, you print this statement. You print negative because any value less than 0 is a negative. But remember, this if has it is else in case this condition is not met. Else it will be 0. So we are checking 3 things here. The first condition, the number enters the if, is it above 0? If no, then it is either a 0 or a negative. So we are now checking, is it a negative? If it is less than 0, then it will be a negative. And if it can't meet any of these 2 conditions, then that number is 0. So this is what we call the if-else ladder. This is very important when you're selecting variables. Sometimes you're calculating maybe BMI, and remember the cutoffs are very different for maybe the children aged this and this, and so we shall be looking at the applications of each of these when the right time comes. But I want you to appreciate, let us put a value here of 0 again, or a negative in this case. Control enter, it will prompt us a number. I'm going to put here negative 14. Enter. So x is now negative 14. We are going to use the if ladder to see what it will bring. So when I come to this code, control enter, it will print a negative. So you're helping R to make decisions using conditional statements. Then we have nested if. Under nested if, you first check a condition. If x is above 0, if it meets that condition, you again have to check, is x above 100? If it meets these two conditions, then we are going to print this is a large positive number. It is above 0, meaning it is positive, and it is above 100. That is a large positive number. Or else, it is a small positive number. Because it will have fulfilled this condition of being above 0, but it has failed to fulfill this condition of being above 100, meaning it is a small positive number. So that is a nested if. There is an if inside an if. Okay, so let's try to run this using our value of 3, and we enter that, control enter. This is a small positive number. Yes, it is above 0, but it doesn't go beyond 100. But if we enter our value here, control enter, and we put here 101, then enter here, then run this nested if code, then control enter, you will see that this is a large positive number. It has met all the conditions. So those are conditional statements, but we also have what we call iterative statements. Iterative statements or looping statements help you to repeat actions without again writing the same code over and over again, yet you are doing the same thing. For example, you want your program to print every value between 1 to 5. We shall use the for function. So you're here saying for every I in 1 to 5, then you give, this is like a condition, you print, you are now giving a statement, you print that I. Okay, so if we run this, it will print from number 1 to 2, 3, 4, and 5. So instead of you saying print 1, print 2, print 3, print 4, print 5, no. So you can even change this to 10 and then run it, control enter, it will print from 1 up to 10. Then there is this while loop. Okay, if we create our variable, for example, we say here x is equal to is a 1, you can see here. So we are telling our program that, our R, that while x is less than or equal to 5, print x. But after that, the new value of x will be x plus 1. For as long as the values are less than or equal to 5, you print that value. But after every printing, the new value of x becomes x plus 1. So when we run this, you can see we have printed from number 1 up to 5. So that's how the while loop works. You set a particular limit beyond which the other values are not printed. Then we have the repeat loop. Repeat loop, we already have our x, we want it to be 1. So under this repeat loop, we want the program to repeat printing the value of x. But after that printing, the new value of x becomes x plus 1. However, if x exceeds 5, then you break. So in this repeat loop, you're stating a starting point and you're telling R where to break. Otherwise, if we don't break, then the program is going to enter into an infinite loop without stopping. Okay, so when we run this repeat, okay, it will print up to 5. If you say maybe up to 100, enter. Okay, sorry, if I run this, then it will print up to 100. Now just imagine if you've not given it a breaking point. That's how the program will run infinitely. The applications of these conditional statements and iterative statements may not make a lot of sense to you right now, but as we move on, you will appreciate where they are applied, and when you come across any error code, whether it is executing which task, you will have the foundation knowledge of what this person is really trying to accomplish when you see a word like while, for, repeat, as opposed to if you didn't see them and you're like, wow, what is this? If you found this video helpful, consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel so that you don't miss out any of our subsequent episodes. We have so far looked at several basics of R programming: reserved words, variable names, data types, structures, operators, functions, conditional statements. So next, we are going to look at more functions in R, those that are specific, the math specific functions, those specific to strings, data frames, and all the other data structures. See you in the next episode.